In this video, I'm going to take you on a tour of downtown Chattanooga. It really is a mosaic of interconnected neighborhoods. And so hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a really great understanding of what downtown Chattanooga is like and what it has to offer. All right, without further ado, let's jump into the video. The first downtown neighborhood to talk about is the Riverfront. And to be honest with you, this is the scenic heart of Chattanooga. The Riverfront is not really a well-defined urban neighborhood. It's more of a linear public district, often thought of as Chattanooga's front porch. The key landmarks that one thinks of when they think of the Riverfront in Chattanooga would be the southern bank of the Tennessee River in the downtown area. Along that, you've got the Walnut Street Bridge, Market Street Bridge, Ross's Landing, and Battery Place. Throughout this area, there is a lot of green space and community space that often gets used for hosting events like the Chattanooga Ironman, various music festivals, and just outdoor recreation in general. In addition, right along this area is the Tennessee River Walk, which is a 16-mile greenway that runs right along the Tennessee River. Now, that whole 16 miles is not part of the Riverfront district, but it does run right along the Riverfront neighborhood. One of the best known landmarks in this area is the Tennessee Aquarium. There's also High Point Climbing Gym, which is quite popular. A little bit about the history of the Riverfront. Ross's Landing is actually a core part of Chattanooga's history. In 1816, Ross's Landing was established as a Cherokee trading post, and it was kind of a central part of the growth of Chattanooga. In fact, the name Chattanooga comes from the Creek word for Lookout Mountain. Let's talk a little bit about the residential profile in this neighborhood. Most of the housing here is going to be apartments or condos, and they lean more towards being modern in architecture in mid-rise buildings. Now, as you head down the river, there are some single-family homes and townhomes that are available, but they are quite pricey, especially the ones with river views. I would say that this neighborhood is really a great showcase of what happens when public investment pairs with private development. In the 1980s, Chattanooga was actually really struggling. They were experiencing quite a bit of shrinkage in the economy, and the choice to put public dollars into funding the aquarium along the Tennessee River in the Riverfront neighborhood spurred a lot of economic growth in this area. And this has led to a lot of the private investment in developing housing in this area. So in terms of the cost to live in the Riverfront neighborhood, it is quite expensive. Condos are going to start in the mid $400,000 range and go all the way up to $2.5 million. And townhomes are usually starting right around $1 million and going all the way up into the twos. It's a beautiful area. It's very convenient, but it's also expensive. Hey, really quick, I am a licensed real estate agent in both Tennessee and Georgia. So if you're thinking about making the move to the Chattanooga area and you feel like we would get along, feel free to reach out. My phone number is 423-358-5656. You can call or text or scan the QR code on screen to book a Zoom meeting with me. All right, let's get back to the video. Next, let's talk about the Bluffview Art District. Now, the Bluffview Art District is really a European style village on the Tennessee River. This area is a very small sliver of downtown. It covers about 1.5 blocks, but is a very popular and well-known place in the downtown area. It really is a bit of a creative heaven in the downtown Chattanooga area. You're right along the bluff with gorgeous views out over the Tennessee River. There is the River Gallery right next to this is the Hunter Museum of American Art. There's also a 2-acre sculpture garden that is very, very beautiful and has gorgeous views of the Tennessee River. And then there are 3 great places to grab a bite to eat in the Bluffview Art District. There is the Bluffview Bakery, there's Rembrandt's Coffee House, and there is Tony's Pasta Shop. A little bit about this district and how it came to be in the late 1800s. In the late 1800s, this area really catered towards Chattanooga's elite. They wanted this area to feel like a small European village. The residents of this area were actually nicknamed the Cliff Dwellers. And then in the 1990s, Charles and Mary Portera started buying up the properties and revitalizing them in this area. Their goal was to create a cohesive feel in this district, and they did an amazing job doing that. Now, long-term housing in the Bluffview Art District is non-existent. There is the Bluffview Inn that has 3 separate restored mansions in the Bluffview Art District. So if you want to stay in the Bluffview area, you can, but it would be very difficult to buy property there. Let's move on to the Southside District. I think the way to characterize this place is that it's got historic grit with modern flair. So the Southside District has undergone a lot of revitalization over the past 50 years. Now it's home to a number of thriving local businesses, and it's a magnet for people seeking culinary experiences, especially on the weekends. Some of my favorite places down there would be Needloves, Aaliyah, Velo, and Frothy Monkey. In fact, I think most weekends I find myself down there at some point. Probably the main landmark or anchor to this area would be the Chattanooga Choo Choo. That is the 1858 railway station. In the 1970s, significant investment was put into restoring the Chattanooga Choo Choo and keeping it in premium condition. Now this area hosts a number of restaurants, bars, and even the Chattanooga Choo Choo Hotel. When it comes to the housing stock in the Southside District, there are a number of options. There are historic lofts in the area, there are modern townhomes, there are some single-family homes, and there are a number of condos in the area as well. So far, the median sold price across this area in 2025 has been $515,000. So it's definitely up there, and it's a little bit more expensive than the rest of Chattanooga as a whole. Next up, let's talk about the MLK and UTC area of Chattanooga. So University of Tennessee at Chattanooga has a very large campus in the downtown Chattanooga area, and right along this is a road known as MLK Boulevard. This area really does have a rich cultural history, and during the school year, there is quite a bit of buzz about the area as well. There are a number of restaurants and student-focused businesses. This area is also home to the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Auditorium, and probably the most prominent landmark in the area is the MLK mural, which is a 42,000 square foot mural. It's very hard to miss if you're down there. So now if I had to characterize this area, I would say it's a mix of historic preservation, UTC's growth, and modern redevelopment. This area overlaps with a historic district called Fort Wood. So in the Fort Wood area, you have very large turn-of-the-century homes with a lot of character. And then in the rest of the UTC and MLK area, you have a very diverse mix of housing. There's some newer single-family homes, there's townhomes, there's some condos and apartments, and there's a lot of housing that belongs to University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. For the most part, prices range from the mid $300,000 range all the way up to $650,000. And if you're looking in the Fort Wood Historical District, those homes can be very hard to come by, and they are often sold at a premium price. And finally, when it comes to the downtown Chattanooga area, let's talk about West Village. West Village has been an area that's undergone fairly rapid development in downtown Chattanooga. It took a part of Chattanooga that was once a little bit run down and forgotten and turned it into something that's really modern, trendy, and sought after. It really does have this polished and curated feel that's targeting business travelers, tourists, and high-end urban dwellers. This area is really anchored by a few luxury hotels. You have the Westin, the Reed House, the Indigo Hotel, and a few others. What I enjoy most about the West Village is getting down there and experiencing some of the amazing restaurants in that area. Two of them that I'll mention specifically would be Easy Bistro in St. John's and the Meeting Place at St. John's. St. John's is a little bit more upscale, and then the Meeting Place at St. John's is more casual and laid back. What's great about West Village is its proximity to most of the major employers in the downtown Chattanooga area. If you lived in this area, you would easily be able to walk or ride a bike to your place of employment. It's a beautiful walkable area with great access. Housing in this area is pretty limited. There are some luxury apartments here, and I believe that there are plans for further development in the near future. Anyways, I hope this overview of downtown Chattanooga has been helpful for you if you learned anything, and if this helped you get a feel for what it's like to live in the downtown Chattanooga area, then I think you might enjoy one of these videos here. I make a lot of content on what it's like to live in Chattanooga, Tennessee, so if you're thinking about making the move, go ahead and check those out. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.